Hey guys, what is up, what is up? Welcome back to another G-Mineo video. I'm your host Jamie, and today we are going to be talking about CSGO. So last week, I decided to do a game review on Valorant, which is my main game right now. And after reviewing Valorant and playing it for a bit, I thought it would be smart for me to give CSGO a try. It's another free game, and it's basically the father of Valorant. So a lot of my friends literally told me if CSGO and Overwatch had a baby, it would be Valorant. So let's take a look at the father side of Valorant, where CSGO came from. So CSGO has been around for a very long time, and you could say that it is the father of all FPS competitive games. Personally, I never played this game before. I know, how could you not play this game before, Jamie? But I never was interested in playing CSGO before because I was always interested in MOBAs, and the only reason I picked up on Overwatch was because of my college's esports teams, and Overwatch was the main game next to League of Legends. CSGO was never picked up as a college competitive game due to its violence. I thought it was weird that the colleges said no to making a CSGO team, but after playing the game, I have realized why they said no. So as a psychology major, I in college studied video games and its impact on the brain a little bit. My field of study was cognitive psychology with a focus in VR. I always used VR as a way to study the brain or see what the impacts of VR could be on the brain or other gamers. There's a lot of controversy around video games, especially the past few years, saying that video games are the cause of violence. This is not true. There's no evidence at all that proves that violent video games equals violent behavior. In Germany, they did a study for 10 years where they used fMRIs to study the brain activity of people that played violent video games and their behavior afterward, and studied the brain changes. There are none. Playing a video game is equivalent to having a really good slice of pizza. Like, is there change in activities in the brain? Yes, but the brain activities that were shown were not ones of violent behavior, but ones of eating a good slice of pizza. So I just wanted to get that out there first before you continue this video to show that video games do not equal violence. But does that mean that this is not a violent game? No, this is a very, very violent game. I personally felt very uncomfortable, and I can see how someone who doesn't play the game can say, this is the cause. But it's just in general of when you don't know something, you're gonna accuse something of being that way. That's just how things are. If you haven't played this video game before, I think you'll understand the perspective that I'm coming from. For one, I'm just gonna right now straight up talk about the violence of the game. So basically, the game visuals. The game visuals are very realistic. It is very military. You feel like you're in a war. You feel like you're an actual person in this war. And it's not even a war, but it seems like the game visuals are very realistic. There is blood everywhere. And this is not CSGO's fault at all. This is allowed. It's fine. So warning, CSGO is a mature game. If you are not mature enough, if you are not 18 and older, do not play this game and do not watch this video. This game is very mature, it is very violent, and warning signs everywhere, honestly. But talking about game visuals, this game is very realistic. I think this is one of the most realistic games that I have played besides PUBG, and it was quite terrifying. When I got into the game, I had to choose the side of either being a terrorist or counter-terrorist. Now, I know from playing with other CSGO players after a while, you're supposed to call them T and CT, but if you are going to this game blind as a newbie, you're literally being like, I want to go on the terrorist side or I want to go on the counter-terrorist side. So it just boggles my mind on the use of the term of being a terrorist. I think that causes a lot of issues with me because you get to choose to be a terrorist, that plants a bomb and makes it explode. I can see now why a lot of controversy is around this game. Not only is the use of terminology very blunt in this game, but how the graphics are very scary. You'll shoot someone and there will be blood everywhere. And I'm not saying little blood splats here and there, but actual blood. When someone dies, there'll be pools of blood below them, or if you shoot someone, blood will just spray out of that person. Actually terrifying. I felt very, very uncomfortable the first few rounds that I was playing because I was like, oh my god, this is so realistic, or oh my god, like, I feel like a terrorist. But then you remember that, oh wait, this is just a video game. But then like after a while, you kind of get used to it, which does agree with the ideas around violent video games makes people desensitized to violence. But just because you play a violent video game doesn't mean that you're gonna go out and go kill someone. Again, look back to the study. There's no equivalence to each other at all. And not just the game visuals that are like that, but the game sound is also very realistic. The one thing that I love about this game is that the sounds are very good. They're very clean. You can really hear footsteps when they're echoing around a certain area, or you can really distinguish each sound and where it's coming from. It really makes you feel like you're in the game and you gotta use all your senses in order to use all of your skills to defeat the other side. So CSGO is a game where there are two groups, the terrorist and the counter-terrorist, or in this case T and CT, where the terrorists are trying to plant a bomb while the counter-terrorists are trying to defuse the bomb and take out the terrorists. So yeah, that does not sound very good, but then again, I play Valorant, we use the term spike instead of bomb, and it's basically the exact same thing, but just using more military and blunt terms. The real-world simulation in this game is very real. I feel like I am an actual terrorist that is trying to plant a bomb, make it explode, and kill everyone. Sounds scary, doesn't it? I don't know how I felt. I found myself after a while getting very used to the game and actually just going out and killing people. I found myself really drowned in the game. So the next thing about this game I'd like to talk about is the competition aspect. So CSGO is a huge esports scene. It is a highly competitive game. It is only competitive. This game is the only competitive game. What's casual? A casual game is completely different from a competitive game. As someone new, I loaded into the game and my only options were to play a casual game. But a casual game is completely different from a competitive game. So from a casual standpoint, how am I supposed to enjoy a game that's not even built to be casual? For example, in a casual game, it is 10v10s versus each other rather than 5v5. And in the 10v10s, there is no timer to when the round starts. There is no shields that you can buy, nothing you can buy. There's no friendly fire. So it's basically a game where it's just continuously played. I asked one of my friends who is a veteran CSGO player, how are you supposed to practice for a competitive mode when casual mode isn't competitive? And he just laughed and said, there isn't. You would think that there'd be much more effort put into the casual play and not just competitive, but seeing how long CSGO has been around and how strong their competitive scene is, I can see why the game company was just like, we don't care anymore, kind of. Sorry to them, but it really does feel like that because as someone who is new, that takes me right into the topic of friendly user interface. So interface, it is not beginner friendly at all. If this is your first FPS game, good luck to you, because you're not gonna have a fun time. Almost every video game I've played, there's always a tutorial at the beginning. Whether it's Apex, Overwatch, Valorant, or League of Legends, they force you to play a tutorial first in order to understand the game mechanics and how the game is just played. Nope, for CSGO, you download the game, you log right in, and it brings you to a page where you're just like, what now? I had to spend at least 10 minutes trying to figure out how to get into my first game. There were 4 different options, and I was just like, which one do I choose? What's the difference between these? Where's the tutorial? You can't even find the tutorial, and I've played this game for at least 4 hours now, and I still don't know where the tutorial is. This is not friendly to newbies at all, so highly recommend not playing this game as your first FPS game. That is not that type of game. But luckily for me, I had a Valorant background and a Overwatch background, so I was just like, okay, I kinda understand this game already. You spawn, you plant the bomb, and you win. That's basically it. But even getting into a casual game was so difficult. So I got into my first game, and I was just like, what's happening? I don't think I'm playing. What's happening? It looks like I'm just spectating. And I was really weirded out. I was just like, what am I doing here? I don't think this is an actual game. So I logged out, and I was like, well, I don't know now what to do because that wasn't an actual game. And then I was just like, but then my brain clicked, and I was like, oh, it's like Overwatch quick play, where you get into a game and you have to spectate the first round, and then the next round you get in. So after waiting a bit, I waited till the round ended, and then I spawned in. So that was very difficult for me. So that was quite a journey for me as someone who opened CSGO for the first time. CSGO is also a game that you don't really pick up nowadays. CSGO, I think, is mainly banking on the competitive aspect of players that have been playing for the longest time and are basically it. People that just love the game. They've grown enough. I feel like the company feels like they've grown enough and they're focusing on other games, which is quite sad because of the potential that CSGO has. My favorite things about the game are the chickens, though. I find it so cute. Like, it's literally a game about terrorists and planting bombs, and then you have the ability to get and gather chickens. I feel like I'm gonna run into an enemy very, very, very soon. A chicken! Look, a chicken! Oh my god, you can kill them. There's more chickens. It's so cute! And then you can gather a chicken, and if someone kills them, on the kill board it will say someone slain your chicken, and it's the saddest thing ever because you spent time collecting chickens while you're being a terrorist and planting bombs, but it's okay because you have a pet chicken, but then it died. It's very sad. But I just think that's one of the most randomest things in the game. But as someone who's new, that's something that I gravitated towards because I was like, oh, cool mechanic. So anyway, CSGO is a game that is not beginner friendly at all. So in conclusion to my game review, CSGO is not a game for beginners at all. If you're looking to get into an FPS game for the first time, do not choose this game. Play Overwatch or Valorant before you play this game so you can get the basic understandings of what an FPS game is. If you are switching from League of Legends to CSGO, put a filler in between because you are going to have a difficult time. I clearly had a difficult time, but was this game fun? This game was really fun, and I actually found myself playing this with my friends afterwards, and I'm still playing now, actually. As much as I have said how scary this game is, This game, again, there is a warning at the beginning that if you are a child, that if you are not mature enough to play this game, don't play this game. I know most people don't listen to those warning signs, but if you are a parent, listen to those warning signs. It is not the game company's fault or anyone's fault, but yourself as parents if you are letting your children play a game where they get to act as terrorists and plant bombs and kill people. But if you are mature enough to play this game, feel free to add me on Steam and maybe we can play some games together, because this is a pretty fun game and I can't wait to play some ranked games to see how far I go. But with all that being said, I'm your host Jamie, and remember, game it till you make it. Bye guys!